NASCAR Coast to Coast, presented by Hercules Tire.
60 minutes of local, regional, and touring series interviews, news, and opinion. Now a couple of guys who think they'd make a great boy band. Kyle, Ricky, and Buddy Long.
The streak continues for NASCAR's K&N Pro Series East with another first-time winner this past weekend in Virginia. We talked to a third-generation driver that wheeled her car to victory lane recently at one of NASCAR's most historic short tracks. And the West Series is back in action this weekend at Tucson. And we talked to the race's defending winner. Welcome to NASCAR Coast to Coast for Wednesday, May 4th, 2016. Kyle, Ricky, and Buddy Long with you for the next 60 minutes talking NASCAR short track racing. And I guess this is the one show and that wasn't rained out this past weekend.
I know. It took its toll on quite a few racetracks, as some of them are still trying to open up to begin a new season, and some of them just couldn't get it. Some got part of their program in, but others just got totally washed out.
And one of those races that got there, or one of those tracks that got part of their program in, Bowman Gray Stadium, I'm very jealous. You were there?
Well, you were at the
not.
biggest track in the country. I was at the smallest
That's
track
right.
in the
You're
country, pretty much. But it was cool, and I was just sharing with you a few moments ago how cool it was. The people that are knowledgeable about Bowman Gray and the weather up there, I mean, they didn't fill the place, but when you looked around, it was still, I would say, at least 85 to 90% full.
Wow.
You could barely see some seats. You could see them because people knew that eventually weather was coming in. You just didn't know when because the weatherman kept pushing things back. But they did get their sportsman class in, which was a good race. John Holloman IV, which I believe is a defending sportsman champion and a regular in the K&N Pro Series East this year with Corey LaJoie as a crew chief. He was up there in the top 5, did very well. The modifieds got out there for the Hayes Jewelers 200, but the interesting story was Danny Bone was leading, had a slight fuel leak, and they black flagged him. He went to pits, and they have instituted the Lucky Dog program at Bowman Gray this year. And I think they either got to lap 32 or 34 before they finally had to call it quits. And Danny was already back on the lead lap.
Wow.
Because there was just a multitude of cautions just for slight spins or here or there. So it'll be interesting because they're going to have the culmination of that, and Danny's going to be at the tail end of the field, but he will be one of the heavy favorites, along with Tim Brown and the Myers boys and, of course, Junior Miller.
They'll try to finish it this Saturday night at Bowman Gray Stadium, just over 30 laps complete. It looked like a really good car count. I saw some of the highlights on one of the local news stations, and Bowman Gray puts that clip on their Facebook page.
Yeah.
So I was able to watch the highlights of what they did get complete, and it looks like they had a really, really healthy field of modifieds.
They did. They had a full field. David Calabrese was also there in the Hill Racing number 79. I think that was a late race switch. Tim Brown, obviously, the all-time winningest driver out there, was there. Bert Myers, Danny Bone, Jason Myers, Junior Miller, as I mentioned. Just so many other drivers. Randy Butner, excuse me. One of the Flemings was there. It just was a good field of cars. And again, and I think you can appreciate this, and it comes as no surprise to you as well, leading up to when we actually start the races there, just all the announcements that are made about sponsorships, the billboards that you see around, just the electricity. It is one of the best and well-maintained and put-together short-track programs of NASCAR that there is in the country.
And that's why it's 85% full on a night where there's 100% chance of rain. So.
Yeah.
We'll talk more about Bowman Gray here coming up in a little bit. They were one of 15 short tracks affected by weather over the weekend. One race not affected by weather, the Biscuitville 125 Virginia International Raceway, and the streak continues, buddy.
Yeah. 5
different winners in the first 5 races, all of which are first-time faces in victory lane. Austin Cindric picking up the race win this past Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering where he was going to pop up this year, and when you look at his resume, I mean, the kid has just raced everywhere. He's done so many things before the age of 17, well before I did. I mean, as far as things I've done in my life, and we saw him on the Camping World Truck Series as a substitute for Austin Theriault after Austin's wreck at Las Vegas last year, and kind of wondered where he would land this year, whether it would be a K&N Pro Series East ride, where it would be this year. But very impressive, and just as impressive, that Martin McClure Motorsports team. 2 for 2. Yeah. That's fantastic.
Hal Martin owns the team along with Eric McClure. We'll talk more about that in a moment. You see the top 10 finishers on the screen. Justin Haley was second. Austin Theriault, who is running full-time this year in the series, is third. Kyle Benjamin, fourth. Ronnie Bassett Jr., fifth. Hunter Bays, a good run in sixth. J.A. Jr., Jairo Avila, finishing in seventh for Rev Racing. His teammate, Ruben Garcia Jr., finishing in eighth. Brian Henderson, ninth, and J.P. Morgan rounding out the top 10, a good 24-car field. Taking the green, Not a lot of cautions. Well, I guess 6 for 14 laps over 55 laps, and it'll be interesting to see how many offs we had in the last couple of laps. Last year's race was wild, but it seemed like Austin was able to keep it on track the whole way around and was able to claim the win. We'll talk to him about that race win coming up here in a little bit. Also going to catch up with Noah Gragson, a driver that was in VIR, is also pulling double duty this year, running both the K&N East and West. The K&N West Series back in action this weekend at Tucson Speedway in Arizona. He won the race a year ago, so we'll catch up with him, see how his coast-to-coast ventures have been treating him this year so far.
You know, he is one of those that we're looking to score a victory on either series. Obviously very tough on the western side with Todd Gilliland and the start he's gotten off to, but on the eastern side, you have to believe he's going to be another one of those first-time winners very, very soon. And as early as a few weeks away when they head to Dominion Raceway for the next event up in Thornburg, Virginia for the ComServe Memorial Classic on that Monday. So, and on top of that, you know, we talk about the rigors of the schedule for both series, but then also running late model competition as well.
Yep.
When he has a weekend off and you think he'd rest, but he's a kid. So he's going to run anything he can, and I think, picking up a bull ring victory a couple of weekends ago.
Super late
so
model,
very accomplished young driver doing a very good job.
So we will catch up with him in just a little bit as he prepares for Tucson, coming off of VIR this past Saturday. We'll also catch up with Kate Dallenbach, who we were hoping to have on the show last week, but she lost some wisdom and picked up her very first late model win at Hickory Motor Speedway a week and a half ago now, and she's still the most recent winner there because they, too, were rained out this past Saturday night. So we'll catch up with Kate, a third-generation driver in her family.
Yeah, absolutely, and it comes on both sides, not just Wally Dallenbach as the dad and Wally Dallenbach Sr. as the grandfather, but Robin McCall, who's very accomplished in the motorsports world as well. So she's got a lot of racing lineage. And when you look at Austin Cindric, I mean, another one with Tim Cindric as a dad, who's the president of Team Penske. I mean, you've got some kids that have got some very successful roots in racing and doing very well at a very young period of their life.
I think all three of our guests today are under the age of, 19?
Probably
20. I don't think I don't know how old Kate is. I think she's 18. Noah's 17 or 18, and Austin's
17.
17.
Yeah.
So, yes, we could be their fathers.
I'm feeling like the grandfather mode here very shortly. It's starting to catch up to me. We were just talking to Robbie Mays, one of our graphics artists here. I mean, the season is blowing by. This is week number 12 of our program already. There are some series, like the Pinty Series, that still has yet to get into action, which they will in a couple of weekends, but some tracks in the country that are just beginning to get underway. But when you look at our NASCAR season, I mean, they're just rolling right along, and heck, the All-Star weekend's coming up in just a few weeks here.
NASCAR Pinty Series, formerly the NASCAR Canadian Tire Series, based in Canada. They open up at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park on May 22nd, and there are 4 tracks that are going to try to open up again this weekend. You mentioned Bowman Gray. They're going to take 2 on their opening night race program with the Hayes Jewelers 200. The Chemung Speedrome, they were also rained out last weekend. They're going to try again this week. And Waterford Speed Bowl will have their blast-off program this Saturday. 10 divisions of racing in one day. It should be awesome. And Riverhead Raceway on Long Island in New York also going to open up their gates for the first time on Saturday night.
And I think Airborne Park Speedway, are they? They're another one that they run like the dirt-style type modifieds on the asphalt. They're going to be cranking up this weekend. And there's still several other racetracks that have their opening dates, like Holland. Elko Speedway, Minnesota, they're doing test and tuning. They have an Eve of Destruction race coming up, which we love.
Love that stuff.
But I think their opener for their NASCAR Weekly Racing Series is June the 4th. So, of course, in Minnesota, that's when spring's finally hitting, I guess.
Right.
But, yeah, there's still a lot of tracks that have yet to crank up. So this weekend, if Mother Nature agrees, we should have some great results next week.
You mentioned the Eve of Destruction stuff, and I know we're on the break, and we're going to talk to Austin Cindric here in just a moment. On fanschoice.tv last weekend, and it's archived there now, Magic Valley Speedway in Idaho had their race program on, as they will again this Saturday night. They had a double-decker race.
Oh, my gosh.
Where you had
Not figure eight, was it?
No, it wasn't. You had, you had the full-size car on the bottom, and you had the compact car up top, stacked on each other, and I guess the person up on top steers, and the person on the bottom controls the gas and the brake.
Oh, that's awesome.
And they had 4 of them out there, and it was fun to watch.
Where do people come up with these concepts? That's incredible.
Love
and you
it.
want to know one thing, one more quick note. Remember trailer races at the Eve of Destruction at Thompson, right? We went to a trailer race, so that was part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Showed that on a YouTube video to my folks over the weekend. Oh, my God, they fell on the floor laughing. It's just so comical. You've got to go to a trailer race if you've never been to one.
And there's a track doing it this weekend, and I'm going to find it in my notes here in a little bit, so we'll talk some trailer racing. But when we come back, we're going to talk K&N racing. The latest winner of the NASCAR K&N Pro Series East, Austin Cindric, will join us after the break.
NASCAR Coast to Coast will be right back on MRN.com.
Race on over to mrn.creekstonefarms.com now through June 8th and enter our Sizzlin' Steak Sweepstakes, where you can win a gift certificate good for $500 in Creekstone Farms premium Black Angus beef and all-natural Duroc pork. No purchase necessary, open to legal residents of the 50 United States and District of Columbia who are 21 or older at time of entry. If you want America's best Black Angus beef ribeyes, fillets, all-natural pork tenderloins, baby back ribs, and more, you've got the green light. Go to mrn.creekstonefarms.com and enter today.
Mother's Day is this weekend. Mom has always been an expert on everything: cooking, relationship advice, fixing your cuts and bruises. The one thing you can't go to her for advice on is what to get her for Mother's Day. Not to worry, you'll look like an expert on Mother's Day when you use Pro Flowers. Get Mom 100 blooms with a free glass vase for $19.99 plus shipping and handling, or make her day extra special. Upgrade to a premium vase and add gourmet chocolates for just $9.99 more. Go to proflowers.com today and use code MRN. Here is the only way to get 100 blooms and a free glass vase starting at just $19.99. Visit proflowers.com. Click on the blue microphone in the top right-hand corner. Type in MRN. That's proflowers.com. Click on the microphone and type in MRN. Mother's Day is this weekend, so order today. Time is running out. This offer expires Friday at midnight.
This is NASCAR K&N Pro Series East driver Ruben Garcia Jr., and you're listening to NASCAR Coast to Coast on MRN.com. Now back to Kyle and Buddy.
Well, welcome back to NASCAR Coast to Coast. Kyle, Ricky, and Buddy along with you. Irwindale Speedway this weekend. Eva Destruction.
Cool.
Figure eight racing, trailer race.
We going?
No.
You're not. I mean, I know where you're going.
Yeah.
You don't have to go there. We can hop a flight and go to Irwindale.
I'm not in Kansas this weekend.
Bucket list item. We
Yeah.
can go.
Let's go. All right. Let's talk to a driver that was in Virginia this past weekend. Biscuitville 125 picked up the race win, and I believe he was on the pole as well. As Chris Wright just sent me a message, the series director, 5 different pole sitters in 5 races,
wow.
along with the 5 different winners. And Austin Cindric joins us on the guest line. Austin, congratulations. Sounds like a very successful weekend for you. Good in practice, obviously good in qualifying, winning the pole, and claiming your very first NASCAR K&N Pro Series East win on the road course at VIR.
Yeah, thanks. It was definitely a great weekend. Thanks for having me on the show, and I'm looking forward to getting to Watkins Glen now.
Well, as you should, and of course, New Jersey Motorsports Park hopefully is going to be on your schedule as well. But I know that things are just coming together with this Martin McClure Motorsports team. But what great success when fans look at this and Chad Fincham's success at Bristol. When you came into this event at VIR, knowing that you do have some road course experience with some of the other forms of motorsports that you run, and the success of this team already at Bristol, were the expectations that high that you could get this car right back in victory lane?
Personally, I kept my expectations in check because I also know all these guys are pretty seasoned veterans when it comes to stock car racing, and they know what it's about, and they know how to drive them. They know what to expect. Me, I'm going into a brand new situation. I do have my road course experience, and I feel like that's where I had an upper hand. But they had a lot more experience in stock cars where they could equal out that experience. So I came in with my expectations in check and just wanted to see what I could do.
You mentioned you do have road course experience in other forms of motorsports. We'll talk about that in just a moment. But how much experience on a road course do you have in a full-bodied stock car, and how difficult was it getting up to speed on a course that you may have never seen before?
Yeah, that was my first experience in a stock car on a road course. That was my 5th stock car race ever. But I had experience at VR before. It was 2 different test sessions, and I had one race there last year in the Continental Tire Series. Decent amount of experience at the track, but completely different learning curve with the stock car on a road course.
Youngest driver, I believe, in Continental Tire Series competition as well. They just continue to rewrite the record books in motorsports, and Austin's another one of those. Now, the million-dollar question, we know you're 17, so we also understand you're missing class. So, Kyle, what's the question that we always ask these drivers?
What class are you missing right now?
I am missing French class.
Oh, good.
Oh,
I'd
okay.
miss that
All
too.
right, yeah.
I'd miss
At least
that
it's
too.
not gym or lunch or something.
Hey, you know what, Austin? Over the course of time this year, we've had Todd Gilliland on. Obviously, a family that comes from great racing lineage, a driver that has a dad that raced, a grandfather that raced as well. The same can be said for Harrison Burton and so many other drivers. Yours comes from a different perspective. Your dad, Tim, obviously the president of Team Penske, but he was a race strategist for many years, a very successful operation, the most successful in IndyCar racing. What kind of impact has your dad had from that side of racing, not so much as a driver's perspective, but as a race strategist, which is just as critical? How much of an impact has that been for you?
Yeah, for me, having my dad by my side is awesome, and to have his support is really great because he knows how the business works. He knows every angle of it between running a team, what's expected out of a driver from a team at that level, and to be able to relay that information to me is a huge advantage for me because I get to practice these things early, so I don't have to learn them later through my career before it's too late. So it's just really great to have him.
And to bounce off a buddy's question, does it add any pressure? Growing up with your dad, who has been so successful in so many different forms of motorsports and in different areas of motorsports, has it added any pressure, do you think, for you and your early success?
No, I don't think so because for me, I want to be a race car driver at the end of the day, and I know what's expected of me, and I know what I can do as a driver, and I know where I need to learn. So if I just improve upon those things, the results will follow.
Age of 17, you were very much alike many other drivers at your age, maybe even more advanced in the amount of racing you've done. Legends and Bandoleros, obviously, were a big part of your program. Pirelli World Challenge is also something that you're competing in this year. Global Rallycross, the Continental Tire Series, the USF 2000. I mean, it's been a vast array of a variety of racing, including the Camping World Truck Series, ARCA, and now the K&N Pro Series East. In your opinion, I mean, even though you know what your dad does and you know the different forms of motorsports you've been in, you want to be a race car driver. Does it really matter where you end up, or do you have a goal as to what particular series or form of motorsports you'd like to end up in?
Yeah, at this day and age, honestly, it's quite hard to make it as a race car driver, and when something like that's that hard, you can't be picky. I think I'm trying to put myself in as many different worlds as possible to put my name out there, promote myself, and learn a lot as well because seat time. I think I learned things that, I mean, even in a rallycross car that I can apply to racing a stock car. So it's very important to get that seat time, and when it comes later down the road to where somebody says, hey, come drive my stock car, hey, come drive my sports car, I'll be ready. I'll be able to pull some experience out of my back pocket instead of just being specialized in one area to where it would be a completely new experience.
We talked about Hal Martin and Eric McClure, this new team that they have formed at the end of last year with Chad Fincham, the Hal Martin Motorsports team that's running the NASCAR K&N Pro Series East, made their debut for this season at the Bristol Motor Speedway and went to victory lane with Chad. How did your relationship begin with Hal and Eric, and how did all this come together for you leading into VIR?
Yeah, Chris Carrier, he was my crew chief in the two ARCA races that I did last year, and he was kind of helping that team out, getting on their feet. He was crew chief for Chad Fincham at Bristol, so I was kind of able to gain the relationship with those guys there, and kind of just took off. We did the test at VIR with the other K&N teams, and decided this is something we wanted to do.
You mentioned the road course event at Watkins Glen, maybe one of the next K&N Pro Series East races you'll be attending. With the success that we have seen with this team through Chad and yourself, does it appear as though there could be more races on the horizon other than what's already initially on the schedule for this team this year and for you?
Yeah, I'm not sure yet, to be honest. Watkins Glen is confirmed. It's the only confirmed race I have left for the K&N Pro Series East season. But I'm also very busy with my Pirelli World Challenge commitments and what I'm trying to put together in the NASCAR Truck Series, and I'm also still trying to get in Rallycross this year. So very busy schedule. My summer is very busy, but busy driver is a happy driver.
That's a lot of series, a lot of different types of cars. My God. How many events do you expect to run this year? Just a ballpark figure. It sounds like you have a lot going on and the calendar's filling up fast, but how many different events do you think you'll be able to compete in before the end of the season?
Well, in 2015, I was able to run 30 races in over 7 different series, so I think I'm well on my way to top that this year, but if I'm topping that means I'm getting more experience, so the more the merrier.
And one of the other series, obviously, that we follow very closely, that we love watching, the Camping World Truck Series. Last year, you got the call the opportunity to sub for Austin Theriot after Austin was injured at the Truck Series race at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Made the most of that opportunity. What's things look like on the horizon for you with the Camping World Truck Series as well?
Yeah, I've got the race coming up at Dover, which I'm really excited for because between Martinsville and when I ran at Phoenix, I really learned a lot about how to just drive a stock car on an oval. And I'm really excited to apply what I learned because I feel like it's going to take me to a different level compared to what I was last year. And like I said, I'm just really excited and can't wait to get there.
Buddy mentioned a moment ago your dad is the president of Team Penske, and he's been in that role for about just over a decade now, I believe. What's the biggest lesson he has taught you as his son wanting to come up and be a part of this sport in a driver capacity?
Yeah, for him, he's always just reminded me stay humble and build relationships because I'm sure anyone who's been in this business long enough knows that relationships are key. And if you don't have those relationships and if you're not able to promote yourself, then you're not moving your career forward. Results on track are only going to take you so far, and it's the other people that'll give you those opportunities that are going to bring you to the next level in motorsport.
And has he been the big impact for you when you look, and we've talked about it, Kyle, as I have, we've gone across the vast spectrum of different forms of motorsports that you've run. The adjustment process has got to be just amazing when you look at, I mean, it's just not going from a Camping World truck to a K&N Series car or vice versa. You're going from a McLaren in the Pirelli World Challenge to a K&N car on a road course to global rallycross. You're going all over the place, but it seems like you've had very good success at a very young age. How critical has your dad been and others in the adjustment process for your success at all of those programs?
Yeah, for me, when I first kind of started creating versatility in my driving, it obviously took a little bit to adjust back and forth between each car, but now this far along in my career compared to when I started, it's almost natural for me. I actually have a test in the McLaren the day before I drive the truck at Dover, so I'll be right in McLaren on a road course, paddle shift. It's a lightweight car, twin turbo V8, right up to Dover, where you're going around a half mile or a mile track with big V8, really heavy car, high speed. It's a big transition, but for me, it's just I sit in the car, I know where I am, and I know what the expectation is for the vehicle I'm driving.
And you mentioned Dover, the Monster Mile. You'll be in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series event that weekend. How many times should we expect you in the Truck Series? Because that's the one series that we cover each week here on the Motor Racing Network.
Yeah, for me, I think there's 5 key races that I want to try and get into this year, but I think Dover and then Talladega would be another big one to run to be able to, once I turn 18, get a restricted plate race under my belt. But then there's also Mosport road race. Obviously, I'd like to do that because I'd like to exploit my talents there.
His bucket list item is going to kill ours before he gets to 21. I mean, you've done everything. I mean, in motorsports, it's just incredible what we've seen you do. Other than let's take it out. I mean, there's got to be other highlights. I mean, obviously, we mentioned being the youngest winner on the Continental Tire Sports Car Series, winning over the weekend. What are some of the other very bright spots for you that you've had in such an early career that you look back on and smile about?
Yeah, well, one of them is running a truck at Martinsville. I think that was huge for me. It was kind of one of those unexpected deals where they needed a driver at the last minute, and I'd done 2 ARCA races and done well on them, and I got the opportunity. And it was actually very cool because Brad's first NASCAR truck race was also at Martinsville, so he had a fun time telling his story from that. And for me, it's just every opportunity I get is a new opportunity to be able to advance my career, big or small. I think another huge opportunity for me was to be able to run the Bathurst 12-hour, which, if you're not very familiar with Bathurst, it's basically one of the greatest racetracks in the world. It is at least road racetracks. It goes straight up a mountain. You run there for 12 hours in GT3 spec cars against some of the best road racers in the world, and it's a massive opportunity. I've been able to do it 2 years in a row now.
That's on the bucket list as well.
Yeah.
It's a crazy.
Well, me taking a bath is on my bucket list. Okay.
I've watched that race a couple of times, and wow, it's absolutely amazing. All right, Austin, we're going to let you go. What's today's lesson in French?
Well, I don't know. I'm not school enough to remember all this stuff.
Wow.
All right, if you want to say Austin Cindric takes the checkers at VIR, say it in French. Can you do it?
That
was close.
Yeah, that was close.
On that note, we'll let you get back to class.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks for joining us.
Having me.
That is Austin Cindric, just 17 years of age, in school and fresh off a victory at VIR. Man, what a schedule, though.
Oh, my gosh. I mean, that's incredible when he talks about everything that he's done, and he's just 17. It's incredible. But, I mean, this doesn't come as a surprise. I really wasn't aware of his schedule in sports car racing and the Global Rallycross until did a little background information on him. I mean, we knew he was a very accomplished short-track racer or had that ability. And when he got in one of Brad's trucks last year, it's like, okay, here we go. Where is he going to land at the beginning of this year? And it was a while before we saw him pop up because of his Pirelli World Challenge commitments and other things. But another kid that you put him behind the wheel, look out. He's going to be very good. He's going to be tough to beat.
All right, and we'll keep an eye on him over the course of this season. When we come back, another driver that's just as busy, but mainly in stock cars, running both the East Series and the West Series full-time, and some super late model racing sprinkled in there as well. Noah Gragson will join us after the break.
Coming back with more of NASCAR Coast to Coast, it's Kyle Rickey and Buddy Long right after this.
Whatever you drive, wherever you go, Hercules Tires will get you there, whether you're running on dirt or running a job. Our dependable, high-quality tires are the perfect fit for your needs. For unmatched value, selection, and warranty with industry-leading road hazard protection, there's only one choice: Hercules Tires. To learn more, visit HerculesTire.com or call 800-677-9535. Hercules Tires, right on our strength.
Ready to take the training wheels off your race scanner? Go to fanvision.com and upgrade your experience with FanVision. Not only will you be able to hear the race,
Dale Earnhardt Jr. gets a good run, drafting help from Kyle Busch and Kevin Harvick. Jr. again pulls up alongside for the race lead.
you'll see every moment through live video, instant replays, live stats, and more.
Hi, I'm Jamie McMurray, driver of the #1 Cessna Chevrolet, and I never go to the track without my FanVision. So go to fanvision.com to rent or buy yours today.
Race cars are finally tuned for maximum performance. Freightliner trucks are too, taking into account all the factors that drive your profitability and lower your real cost of ownership. Efficient aerodynamic designs paired with the integrated Detroit powertrain maximizes fuel efficiency, uptime, quality, connectivity, and safety to give truckers peace of mind and a better return on investment. Find out how to lower your real cost of ownership at rco.freightlinertrucks.com.
This is NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour driver Ryan Preece, and you're listening to NASCAR Coast to Coast on MRN.com. Now back to you, Kyle and Buddy.
All right, thank you very much, Ryan. You know, Mother's Day is this weekend, buddy.
I gave a Mother's Day present last week. I'm not going to get into detail. Wasn't flowers, but that's coming too.
So you haven't visited proflowers.com
Not
yet?
yet, but it's
Well, you
only
should.
Wednesday.
Yeah. Mother's Day.
There's Pro Flowers calling right now.
Mother's Day weekend, of course, is this weekend. Visit proflowers.com for the perfect gift. The offer: get mom 100 blooms with a free glass vase for $19.99 plus shipping and handling. Or make her day extra special. You can upgrade to a premium vase and add gourmet chocolates for just $9.99 more. Go to proflowers.com today and use the promo code MRN. That's proflowers.com. Click on the blue microphone in the top right-hand corner. Type in MRN. And to get the offer today. Mother's Day right around the corner. The time is running out. The offer will expire this Friday at midnight.
Ooh. Okay, I'll do it this afternoon when I leave here.
Time's
and
ticking.
I go back. You know, they're really doing a great job because we talked about it before we got on the air. Driving around and listening to the radio, they are all over the place as far as advertising is concerned. They're really doing it.
They're all over our producer Craig Moore's desk as well.
Right.
He has visited proflowers.com this week.
Well, Craig gets in a lot of trouble. He's got to buy a lot of flowers. He's always in trouble.
He
He's doing
is.
something wrong. Did he buy you flowers?
No.
It's coming.
No
it's
one will
coming.
buy me flowers.
Well,
that's all right. Noah Gragson joins us now on the line. Hopefully he is prepared for this Mother's Day weekend. Noah, welcome back to NASCAR Coast to Coast. How's it been?
Yeah.
It's been a couple of weeks since we last talked.
Yeah, what's going on, boys? I might need to get my mom some flowers for this Mother's Day from the flower store, but doing good. I just got back from VIR and eating some cereal right now, having some Fruit Loops and Captain Crunch before I head off to school. So just getting some morning breakfast in and about to go to school.
Obviously on the West Coast.
Yeah, exactly. It's 9:30. If I'm forgetting about
and
that.
obviously a late start to a school day.
Yeah. One kid's already in French. I mean, what are you going to be studying today?
Well, I do homeschool, so I go to my tutor's house, and we try and crank it out. My finals are set from the dates of May 17th through the 21st or something, but I'm trying to get it all done because I have a special announcement I'll be making during that week of the 17th to the 20th. So I got to get all my work done before I head out there and make the announcement. So just trying to crank it all out, get my finals over with, and hopefully get on with summer.
What's the announcement pertain to, Noah?
Well, it'll be on the 17th, so
okay.
you
If
just
I
have
wanted
to
you to
wait
know, I'd have
and
told
see.
you.
You'll have to wait and see.
All right.
And we talked to Austin Cindric a few moments ago, and we thought you were the busiest driver out there. But, when you think about it and you really boil it down, between what you're doing on both series, K&N Pro Series East and West, the late model schedule that you have, and even though you're homeschooled, you're still going to school. You still have to study. That's a heck of a workload that you set out for yourself this year.
Oh, man, it is a challenge, I'll tell you. It's basically like taking 2 full-time jobs and making it your entire life. And I just been racing on the weekends, doing school during the week. I'm so glad we're just finishing up the last couple assignments, and then I'm going to request my finals, so hopefully I could get those done in the next week or two. But, man, I'll tell you, it's been very challenging just battling with school and racing and just trying to get everything done. But we've been cranking it out, and I've been having a lot of fun racing. We were just in VIR and led some laps out there, and I had a blast out there. We're going back to Tucson Speedway where we had success last year. So I'm pumped up. I'm living the dream, and I can't wait.
Let's button up VIR for a moment. We were just discussing during the break. We knew you were running well. We saw that you led laps. What happened and ultimately led to your 17th place finish 4 laps down?
Yeah, it was my first time there, so I felt like we were having a pretty solid run. I qualified 4th, and Austin and JJ Haley, they're pretty much the class of the field. They're really quick, but I started to figure the place out, and about halfway, coming the halfway break, I led a couple laps, but on lap 10 of 55, I felt like something broke in the motor. I lost power a little bit, and those guys would just yard me down the front straightaway. The front straightaway is so long and so fast that just you got to have all the power you can have, and I felt like we were a little bit down on power, and we managed to take over the lead and pulled a couple slide jobs or crossovers on Austin Cindric down there in turn 1. So that was pretty fun. I had a blast, and the fuel pump finally broke on somewhere around 10 to go, 15 to go. So it's just unfortunate. We came in the pits, lost 4 laps, and changed it. But we never quit, and we kept our heads up. And I just had a blast out there running the road course. I'm so glad we have 6 road course races on the K&N West and East schedule combined. So I can't wait to get to Sonoma and run the next road course race. It's just so fun. You're mostly battling the racetrack, and you definitely have to be on your game and be very disciplined.
Well, no doubt. When you get to Sonoma, obviously you got some other heavy hitters that you got to deal with because typically you have an Austin Dillon. Sometimes I think was it a Trevor Bain or there was a couple
Bain, Kyle
that have
Larson.
run it. Yeah, they'll some of the Cup guys will slip in there and run with you, which always is a good test as well. Right now, 6th in the West, 7th in the East in the point standings. It would be easy to say, because you haven't got a victory yet, that, okay, it's the rigors of traveling back and forth across the country and everything you do. But I really wouldn't equate it to that because you got 2 very good teams on both sides of the country that are well preparing your cars. You're young. You know what you need to do. What's been the biggest challenge and the adjustment for you with these 2 series that you need to get yourself into victory lane?
Well, I think just being traveling coast to coast almost every weekend. The first 4 or 5 races of the year for the K&N East and West Series, they're pretty much back to back. So we're trying to build the new body cars this year and transferring everything over, just getting the chassis set up and everything. And it's hard. We're based out of Washington. Jefferson Pitts Racing is based out of Washington State, so it's hard going out to those East Coast races. But we're doing with what we have, and I feel like we've had some speed. A lot of speed, actually. Just ran into, I don't want to call it bad luck, just run into some adversity there. We ran 6th at Bristol, or we were running 4th at Bristol, actually, and cut a right rear tire down going off into turn 1 after the halfway break and
come down pit road, had to change that, and just unfortunate stuff, and then the fuel pump issue at VIR. So I don't want to call it bad luck because I feel like if you start calling it bad luck, you're going to have more of it. But hopefully we can change it around, and obviously we run pretty good at Tucson last year with Jefferson Pitts race and finished first, second, and third. So I'm pretty pumped up to get back there. I've been talking to Grayson, and we can't wait to get there. We're planning it out, and we've been talking about it. We got to run there earlier in the year in a super late model race. So that track's real hard, and it produces a lot of good racing, 3-4 wide racing. So it'll be fun and great TV broadcast for sure.
That's this weekend at Tucson Speedway. You are the defending winner. We've mentioned a couple of times now you're running both series full-time. What happens on July 29th at the Iowa Speedway when both series are on the track? Do you have to select a series that you're going to get points for that night? How's that going to work?
Yeah, as of right now, I'm the only driver, to run both East and West series, and as of right now, they're only letting us choose one series at Iowa. So I guess whichever one we're running highest in, we'll probably choose to classify under that series, East or West. But hopefully we can work them over and get points for both. But it's going to be a challenge. But right now we have in our minds that we can only get points for one of the series in that race. So it's a bummer, but it should be fun, and we're going to keep our heads up and still fight till the end.
Showing the points on both East and West right now as a result of the VIR event, both Justin Haley and Kyle Benjamin tied for the series lead. And, of course, on the West, Todd Gilliland has just been absolutely on fire with a 9-point lead over Ryan Partridge. And really is a tale of two different series in different parts of the country. Here you got 5 races, 5 faces. You head to Dominion Memorial Day weekend with a very good opportunity for there to be a 6th different winner. And then on the western side where you are right now, nobody seems to have the answer for Todd Gilliland. When you look at the level of competition, I'm not trying really to compare it because I think both are fabulous. Do you really draw off of one series that prepares you for another? Because both just seem to be so stacked with great competition.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you're in the seat, it's valuable experience, and I feel like we've going back to traveling every weekend, both to the East and West Coast, it makes it a challenge. For instance, we're in, I think, Mobile, Alabama for their second K&N race, and they had a test out in Irwindale during that weekend, and so we couldn't get out there. And there's been a couple conflicts with test sessions and just getting back and forth across the country with the hauler and everything in the car. So it makes it more of a challenge, but we've been fighting hard, and we have it pretty much all planned out on what's realistic, and we've come up to run both East and West series. So hopefully we can fight for a championship in both. Last weekend at VIR, my crew chief Jerry Pitts, we were looking at the points after the race, and if we would have finished in the top 3, we would have been 3rd in points, but due to us finishing 17th, we're back there in 7th in the points now, 40 points out. So it's a bummer, but we'll continue to fight hard.
And because the K&N East and West schedules aren't enough, I've noticed you've done some super late model racing here recently. Just took down a race win about 2 weeks ago at the Las Vegas Bull Ring. Congratulations on the win there. And how much of that should we expect this year when the K&N cars aren't on the racetrack?
Yeah, first off, thank you. And I plan on trying to get as much racing done as possible. 24 races in the K&N East and West Series combined. And then I've done a couple of super late model races so far. I did the Winter Showdown, $250 in Kern County, $30,000 to win. So that was pretty cool. Finished 5th there, and then did a couple of races of the Bull Ring last weekend, or 2 weekends ago. So picked up a win there, and I was scheduled to run at the Bull Ring next weekend, but we're going to plan on going up to Spokane, Washington, and run a car up there in super late model division. So just traveling around, just trying to get as much seat time as possible. There's many different things. So it's a blast, I'll tell you. I'm very positive when I'm at the racetrack because it's a very awesome opportunity to be able to race a race car every weekend. And I've been using the hashtag lately, hashtag no bad days, because I feel like being at the racetrack is better than being at school or anything. So anytime I could be there, I'm having fun, no matter how our day goes. Yeah, we had a bad day, but I didn't let it affect me. Just trying to stay positive through it all. And there's a lot of people who'd want to be in my position, so definitely can't take it for granted and have to live it up as much as possible, because I don't know how many more opportunities I'll have it like this to race all the time.
There was no bigger smile than Noah's at the Bristol Motor Speedway on that Thursday and Friday, Friday and Saturday of race weekend there for the K&N Series. Describe what Bristol was like again for you. It was the best description I've ever heard of a car in a racetrack.
Okay, so Bristol was, you know those rides that you go to like one of the fairs at?
The Gravitron.
Yeah, it's like the spinny 3000 thing, and you lay on the walls and it spins you around and stuff. That is I feel like exactly what Bristol is. Like, you can't see, everything's going so fast, and you're just pinned up against the seat, and there's so much G-forces, and you're going so fast and getting spit out the corner. And man, I'll tell you, the qualifying laps there are unreal. It's nothing I've ever experienced in a race car before. It's just, you get in the corner and you're going so fast, and it just spits you out down the straightaway, and it looks like everything's going like fast forward to me. So it was so awesome. The place is so banked and so fun. I said to Grayson after, I was like, this is a place that I could just run laps at all day and not get bored, because it's so fun just by myself. I don't even have to be racing, but that place is awesome.
And what a spotter's nightmare too.
Yeah.
My gosh.
Oh yeah.
He climbed out of the car, biggest smile I've ever seen, and then I got that description. I'm like, that's amazing. You're right, it is. Noah, we got to run. Thanks for joining us, as always. Best of luck in defending your win from a year ago at Tucson this weekend, and maybe, just maybe, somebody putting a stop to the Todd Gilliland Express over there on the West Coast.
Oh yeah, I think Todd has had his glory. No disrespect for him, but it's time for a new winner out here on the West. I think you're definitely going to see one this weekend. You got to save your tires, and there's a lot in the driver's hands this weekend, not so much cars. So Ryan Partridge will be good, Grayson will be good. So I'm looking forward to it. I appreciate you guys having me on the show, and hopefully you can come take home the W again this year at Tucson.
We'll be watching on Saturday night. Noah Gragson joining us here on NASCAR Coast to Coast. When we come back, another third-generation driver with, from what I've done research on, has just as an ambitious schedule as Noah and as Austin earlier in the show. Kate Dallenbach, the most recent winner at the Hickory Motor Speedway, will join us after the break.
NASCAR Coast to Coast will be right back on MRN.com.
O'Reilly. Regular oil changes are key to engine life, but the oil is only as good as the filter it flows through. Right now at O'Reilly Auto Parts, earn double O Rewards points on all Mobil 1, K&N, Bosch, and Wix XP oil filters. These premium filters are made to remove more dirt, reduce friction, and keep your engine running smooth and strong. O'Reilly Auto Parts, better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
The Toyota racing team was born out of true American tradition. We've racked up 332 NASCAR wins. That's a whole lot of victory laps. Just last year, Toyota racing driver Kyle Busch took home the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series championship. We even have Toyota drivers racing Tundras in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. But winning isn't our only tradition. Toyota has been in North America for almost 60 years. We have 10 Toyota assembly plants scattered throughout the United States. Those plants produce 9 of our models right here, including the Camry, Tacoma, and Tundra. In 2014, a total of 1.3 million Toyota vehicles were assembled here in America. That's a lot of cars. The production of all those vehicles has created thousands of American jobs. That's a lot of opportunities. Opportunities that we'd like to keep going for years to come. So let's go, America. Let's go, NASCAR. Let's go places. Head on over to toyotaracing.com to find more info on our drivers. NASCAR is a registered trademark of the National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing, Inc.
This is NASCAR K&N Pro Series driver Spencer Davis, and you're listening to NASCAR Coast to Coast on MRN.com. Now back to you, Kyle and Buddy.
All right, thank you very much, Spencer. Welcome back to NASCAR Coast to Coast here on the Motor Racing Network. Kyle Rickey, Buddy Long, and Hickory Motor Speedway, one of the tracks that fell victim to Mother Nature this past weekend, so no results from Hickory. So we're going to go back 2 weeks and talk to the most recent winner of the late model stock car division at Hickory in Kate Dallenbach. And Kate, you couldn't join us last week because you had some surgery. You had your wisdom teeth out. How's the recovery been for you in the last week and 2 days?
It's been pretty long, longer than it was supposed to be. There were some problems with the first surgery, so they had to go back in there, so that wasn't too fun. But I've been getting a little better every day, so it feels pretty good right now.
So how focused were you? I mean, if you're trying to avoid pain, do you just sit back and just relish in that Hickory late model victory, and that hopefully gets subsides the pain for you a little bit, and just continue to relive your late model win, your first there at Hickory?
Yeah, definitely. That was an amazing weekend, and it was really a long time coming. There was so much hard work put into that over last year as well, and we only have we have a limited number of races this year. We only have 10 races, so to start out the season in the first race with a win really meant a lot to me and the team, and everyone that's really helped me through this. And it just sets a really positive attitude for the rest of the season, and it's just a great way to start the year.
10 races on asphalt, 20 more on dirt. Going to be a busy year for you. When is your next asphalt race? And in turn, when is your next race at the Hickory Motor Speedway?
I'm not sure when the next Hickory race is. We're still, working on the schedule a little bit. We're kind of picking and choosing which tracks we want to go to since we only have 10 races. But the next race is next weekend at Greenville in South Carolina. So I'm looking forward to that. I know the team really figured out a good setup for down there, so I'm really excited about racing there this weekend.
Now, it was rather interesting when we saw you're an RCR development driver, but you're going to be running, as Kyle mentioned, a variety of dirt late model events. That's rather unique. You don't really see that very often with drivers in their resumes or what they're looking to do. And actually, you know what? I traveled down to Carolina Speedway last weekend in Gastonia on the chance that Kate was going to be in the late model field. You know what? She didn't show up.
Well, she was recovering still.
I know. But from a dirt late model standpoint, where are you looking to run, and what are you guys looking to accomplish there this year?
We run mostly at Boyd Speedway in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and that's a lot of fun. I really like racing on the dirt just as much as I like racing on asphalt, because the dirt and asphalt really complement each other, and you can learn a lot from both and apply them to each other. Like, for instance, the dirt racing, it teaches a lot of car control and, what to do when you get sideways, how to save it. And that's one thing that, really helped me with this last race at Hickory. On the last restart, when I finally got the lead, people were bumping into me in the corner, aiming for my left rear quarter panel. So I got pretty sideways a few laps, but, I learned so much from the dirt about how to correct it and not overcorrect it so that you spin out, but I was able to save it. So I think that, there's a lot to learn from both of them. And not only that, but there's just as much fun as asphalt. It's so much fun getting in there and getting sideways, and there's also a lot to learn from it. So I really like them both. And I have a great team with the dirt racing, Team Dillon Racing, and a great team with the asphalt Lee Falls Racing. So I'm always in good hands with good people who, help me with whatever I need help on. And, they really got me to where I am today with that win at Hickory.
Team Dillon Racing, of course, connected with Richard Childress Racing and RCR. How did you become a development driver for RCR? Of course, you and Anna Parkhurst, who has done so well on the dirt as well over the years, both development drivers for that team this year.
Well, when I was about 8 years old, I was at one of the Daytona NASCAR races, and I think my dad was working in the booth that year, and I was in the infield, and I think I was in Mike Skinner's motorhome. And Mr. Childress came in and asked me how the quarter midget racing was going at the time, and I was talking to him a little bit, and I just remember that he told me that when I was ready to give him a call. So I always kept that in mind, and, you know, I always wanted to race for him. And I'm so thankful that, you know, he signed me last year to be a developmental driver, and again this year. It's been a really great opportunity, so I'm really thankful for that. As well as, you know, Bass Pro, they've been sponsoring me for the last 3 years in late models, but also they always, you know, help me out with quarter midgets and Allison Legacies, and Johnny Morris at Bass Pro has always been just a great sponsor, and I'm really glad that I still have them again this year.
Quite a few heavyweights backing you up for sure. That's a big help. You know, when we've talked to so many different drivers, and we talked to Austin Cindric earlier today on the show. We mentioned Todd Gilliland, Harrison Burton. A lot of our young drivers have racing lineage with parents who raced before. You are one of the few that have too, because your mom, Robin Dallenbach as well, has been very much involved in motorsports. So when we ask about the impact that Dad has had on a driver's, racing career, what impact has your mom had?
They both have had a really big impact. My mom especially, because, you know, when she was racing, she was one of the first few women to be racing, and, you know, she opened a lot of doors for women. You know, it wasn't really easy for her at the time because women drivers weren't really accepted, and I think she really opened a lot of doors, and it's great to have her as not only a mom but as a supporter with racing, because, you know, she's been there, and, you know, she gives me a lot of great advice and helps me, and she's just a great, you know, person to have on my team.
What's the ultimate goal for you? Obviously, right now, a lot of options, both on the asphalt and on the dirt. Do you want to move up to NASCAR? Do you want to move up to a World of Outlaws program? You're preparing yourself for both of those roads. What's your ultimate goal?
My ultimate goal is definitely to make it up to NASCAR. You know, hopefully pretty soon I can start with some truck testing, and that would definitely be the next step for me, would be trucks, but definitely NASCAR is my ultimate goal.
What's life been like ever since? I know you had to get the wisdom teeth pulled, but for the amount of people that have, I'm sure, approached you since that first victory, what's that life been like for you?
It's been awesome. It's been everything that I've been working for these past couple of years, and, you know, to finally have a win under my belt, it's exciting, and it you know, makes me even more optimistic for the rest of this year, and, you know, not just this year, but also what's to come. So it's a really great feeling and really exciting to finally, you know, have a win and to start working for some more.
If memory serves me right, you were really close a couple of times late last season. At what point during the night at Hickory a couple of weeks ago did you feel, all right, this is my night, finally I'm going to get the checkered flag first here tonight?
Well, I was running third for, you know, 95 laps, and you know, after that many laps, there was only about 2 cautions, and the tires were wearing out pretty bad, and, you know, I had some pretty good luck. The first and second place car got into it a little bit, and on the restart, I started first, and it was exciting and a little nerve-wracking, you know, with only 5 laps left, starting on the pole. You know, that restart was everything, and right before coming to the green flag, you know, I said a little prayer to myself and just said, you know, I'm going to win this. I have this. You know, I have a good car. I know I can do this. And, you know, 5 laps later, we came to the checkered, and it just felt really, really good to finally get that.
It was fun to read the next day as well from the Hickory Motor Speedway folks. Congratulations on the win, Kate. Best of luck to you the rest of the season. Hopefully we'll be talking to you more here on NASCAR Coast to Coast. And continued healing. Hopefully you're back to 100% by the time you get to Greenville next week.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Kate Dallenbach joining us here on NASCAR Coast to Coast. Again, another one of those drivers that we're going to have to watch for here in the next couple of years. Already has her eye on the Truck Series.
Yeah, and just good to see, how Mom helped open doors up. And when you think about it, back in the days of Robin McCall, that wasn't many years ago.
Nope.
I mean, it was back when females really still hadn't gotten their footing in the door. So good to see such a great collection of females that we have in our programs. Very successful young drivers right now.
Absolutely. Back to wrap things up and preview the weekend ahead when we come back here on NASCAR Coast to Coast.
Coming back with more of NASCAR Coast to Coast, it's Kyle Rickey and Buddy Long right after this.
Ready to take the training wheels off your race scanner? Go to fanvision.com and upgrade your experience with FanVision. Not only will you be able to hear the race,
Dale Earnhardt Jr. gets a good run, drafting help from Kyle Busch and Kevin Harvick. Jr. again pulls up alongside for the race lead.
you'll see every moment through live video, instant replays, live stats, and more.
Hi, I'm Jamie McMurray, driver of the #1 Cessna Chevrolet, and I never go to the track without my FanVision. So go to fanvision.com to rent or buy yours today.
O'Reilly.
Regular oil changes are key to engine life, but the oil is only as good as the filter it flows through. Right now at O'Reilly Auto Parts, earn double O rewards points on all Mobil 1, K&N, Bosch, and Wix XP oil filters. These premium filters are made to remove more dirt, reduce friction, and keep your engine running smooth and strong. O'Reilly Auto Parts, better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
This is NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour driver Bobby Santos, and you're listening to NASCAR Coast to Coast on MRN.com. Now back to Kyle and Buddy.
All right, thank you very much, Bobby, an expectant father.
Oh, is he really?
He is.
Yeah, that's
Christy
right.
announced
Okay.
that a couple weeks ago, just before the icebreaker.
Okay.
Busy weekend this past weekend for the tracks that were able to run. New Smyrna Speedway got their program in. I'm surprised they weren't rained out, actually, because they usually are. Patrick Thomas won the Sportsman 50-lap main event, which was the headline of the evening. Jerry Simmons won the modified feature. They're back in action with the Pro Late models this weekend.
Monadnock Speedway, one of the newest tracks to open up over the weekend. The Sportsman mod win went to Bill Kimball over Keith Carzello. They'll be back in action with mods again this Saturday night.
Seekonk Speedway opened up this past weekend in Massachusetts. 2015 track champion Dylan Estrella picked up the opening day late model win. Fast Freddie Estelle picked up the 40-lap Pro Stock feature, leading wire to wire. They're back in action this Saturday night as well for Youth Sports Night at the races.
Dominion Raceway had their second late model event of their new season. Nick Smith scoring the victory over the weekend over Tyler Hughes and Jeff Oakley. As we mentioned, Dominion Raceway will have the next event for the K&N Pro Series East coming up Memorial Day weekend.
Kalamazoo Speedway held the Intimidator 100. Tyler Rohrig picked up the race win over Brian Bergacker and Jeff Gannis at the stripe. Matt Corling won the Pro Stock feature, their next event this Friday night for a 5-division program.
Other events at the Bull Ring, they had College Night. Superstock Twins went to Don Sargent. The Bomber races to Michael Grieve and Sam Jacks. The late models will be back on May the 14th.
I-80 Speedway in Greenwood, Nebraska in action. Dylan Smith, not the one we know, I don't think, picked up the A-Mod feature, although he is everywhere.
Yes.
Over Jesse Dennis. Adam Armstrong won the B-Mods. Their next event this Friday night, May 6th. And then we'll feature the 410 sprint cars.
I can't wait for the Whelen All-American standings to hit because Matt Bowling picked up his 4th late model win at South Boston Speedway over the weekend. They were supposed to have twin 75s. Second one got rained out.
And Sunset Speedway opened up in Ontario in Canada, and they had twin late model features. Taylor Holdaway, a driver that ran for that national championship a year ago, picked up one of the feature wins. Nick Goetz picked up win number 2. Matt Bentley won in the Super Stocks. They're back in action this Saturday night. 15 tracks were rained out, including Colorado National, State Line Speedway, Rockford Speedway, your favorite night of the year, rained out.
Yeah, the Bowman Gray Stadium, they got rained out as well. Danny Bone, 3 laps down, 32 laps to go, and still got back on the lead lap, so it'll be interesting to see what he can do.
I want to thank Austin Cindric for joining us, along with Noah Gragson and Kate Dallenbach. For Craig Moore, he's Buddy Long. I'm Kyle Rickey. We'll see you back here next Wednesday on the Motor Racing Network.
This has been NASCAR Coast to Coast with MRN short track experts Kyle Rickey and Buddy Long. Tune in next Wednesday at noon at MRN.com for more talk from NASCAR home tracks and touring series. NASCAR Coast to Coast is also available on demand in the MRN.com Media Center or download from iTunes or Stitcher. NASCAR Coast to Coast is a production of the Motor Racing Network. All rights reserved.